You know, the news often talks about in these blue cities, these blue states, the crime and the policies that are being implemented that are not taxpayer friendly. But it's also clear that majority of these cities are hampering their own economy. They're living in a deficit that is far reaching, and issues go back to the taxpayers. So regardless of who's replaced, like you get a new mayor or a new governor, the problems are never fixed. They only kick the can up the road over and over. It's just recycled as if someone else needs to fix the problem.
Hey, boss, he ain't working.
CNN commentator Fareed Zakaria went viral over the weekend when he blasted Democrat-run cities such as New York and Los Angeles for their spending.
Zakaria says the spending has gotten out of control and is only going to get worse. He cited New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's recently proposed 2027 budget of $127 billion. Let's watch.
New Yorkers pay tax rates comparable to European countries that provide in return universal health care, free college education, and amazing infrastructure. New Yorkers get some 300 miles of sidewalk sheds. New York is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, just kicking the can down the road. Or, you know, asking for more from the federal government, and you're already in a debt deficit. So you're not able to get out of that hole. It's like going to go get a loan and then pay back that loan with another loan. But you're never getting on top. You're never getting out of it. And this don't fall on the city. It falls on the city's taxpayers. While they allocating money for this project, or maybe, oh, we want to implement this, or hey, we want to give free child care, or hey, we want to give free bus rides, whatever the case may be. This ultimately falls back on the city's taxpayers, the civilians, me and you. Let's review.
In addition to the Big Apple, Zakaria also called out major cities like Los Angeles and Chicago. He accused LA of being inefficient with their money when it comes to homelessness, with reports suggesting the city's homeless rate has only increased in the past few years, despite spending billions to fight it.
In Chicago, he says the city's pension program has expanded so much it will surely bankrupt the city at some point. Zakaria argues these cities have the right ideas in mind, but that they go about achieving their goals in the wrong way.
What is the theory of good government here? If the answer is keep adding programs, the city will keep producing unaffordability, because unaffordability is what happens when government becomes a machine that grows faster than the society it governs.
So think about it, and think about it in this way. You see it in Chicago. You see it in California. Like, the billionaires are leaving California. I think Chevron is next thinking about leaving California. Then you have in Chicago, the Bears are leaving. All these businesses that are leaving. Well, what does that do to the economy? Now, yes, people are definitely looking for the government to help them. And so instead of these businesses staying where they are and generating jobs, generating revenue for your cities because of your cities and your state's policies that are not friendly to the businesses, now they're going elsewhere where they can be appreciated and not devalued. So you have to think about what is actually going on and use your context clues. Because these businesses, these brands are not just leaving because they just want to go somewhere cheaper and affordable, which that may also be true, but think about the policies that are implemented in your city. Think about the taxes that they have to pay versus these cities. They like, like with say for instance, like with violent crime. How many times do we see, especially in these blue states and blue cities, that they just let any and everybody out? I just did a video a few weeks ago on California about to let a serial predator out of prison. He's supposed to be serving 3 life sentences. He's getting out after 26 years. You have to think about everything that you're asking for. They're asking for innovative projects, but not actually utilizing the money the proper way. And then now the taxpayers are stuck with the bill.
Zakaria's segment got lots of responses, both positive and negative, on social media. Billionaire John Arnold echoed his sentiment, saying, "This is an important message to progressive mayors. The era of sustaining bloated operations through tax increases on a shrinking base is over. They must think about better rather than more."
But journalist Thomas Kennedy was much more critical, writing, quote, "Florida is about to abolish property taxes because of a libertarian fever dream that mostly benefits retired boomers, which will effectively collapse municipal services and public schools funding in the state." And this is what Zakaria chooses to focus on: an unserious person. What say you, libertarian?
As a libertarian.
But see, he's trying to match that about Florida. But Florida is able to, if Florida is able to sustain that, obviously it has to go up to the government. It's not even implemented yet, but it's just a possibility. If they've been making it in Florida with no state tax, just like Texas, then I think, and they've been managing their state well, I think you can come to the conclusion that, hey, if we did this, if we did it with state tax, and maybe we can do it with property tax. I think that was a disingenuous post, because I believe that it can work, but obviously it hasn't been implemented yet. So we'll see once it get there. But let's keep it going.
And a fevered one. We don't want to abolish property taxes. We want to abolish income taxes. Sales tax is the ideal way to fund government service from a libertarian perspective. Income tax is the worst. Property tax is somewhere in the middle. I take the person's point. We don't want to just get rid of property tax and leave other forms of taxation in place, because that does benefit the elderly, because they're the ones who own property. So then you're getting, and they're the ones who have most of the wealth in society, and they're the ones who get most of the benefits in terms of Medicare and Social Security. So you don't want to remove the taxes on the people who are getting disproportionately all the benefits and who disproportionately have all the wealth. So that is not something we libertarians want. I want to reduce income tax primarily. That's the main thing, so that people can be productive. Hardworking people keep more of what they earn. You want to go out and work more because you're keeping more of what you earn, and then you're spending that money, or you're saving for a home, or you're putting it into the economy. Sales tax is what we like, because it's fair to everybody. Everybody's going to pay it regardless of what you have, and that's the great equalizer. We can talk about different approaches to taxation, but bringing it down broadly, and particularly bringing down income tax, is what I would be in favor of. Now, blue cities love their little income taxes, huge income tax, want us to be like Europe. Some countries in Europe, you're paying 60% income tax. Majority of what you earn goes to the government. And I think Fareed made a good point there. But in Europe, you do get, for having done that, they get services that they like.
Like healthcare.
And right. But here, New York is getting close to that. What is it? Is it offering anything close to what European countries offer when they take that much money?
Well, big cities.
And see, think about that. And that is the reason why I'm vehemently against free healthcare. If we have universal free healthcare, we'll be like Europe, we'll be like Canada. People waiting in line to get surgeries on the waiting list. And then, yes, what you think every state is going to do? They're going to raise up taxes, just like he was just talking about in Europe. If you're already paying a whole lot of taxes, you going to go get, essentially, what he's saying is no different from when you're working on your job and you're paying Blue Cross Blue Shield or whoever, every paycheck they taking money out of your check for insurance that you never get to see. Essentially, it's just on a bigger scale. So people got to start thinking about what they're asking for. Let's keep it going.
Cities are expensive to run, right? So he's just speaking like it's so easy
Okay,
to
but
solve.
Denmark's not expensive to run?
I mean, they provide millions of dollars in services to low-income residents.
No, they don't. They provide pensions. That's what is
one of the things, but there are several other services.
The low income, that's not bankrupting the city. That's a trifling amount of money. It is. What's bankrupting the city is pensions for government employees. Government employees are going to ruin everything for blue governance because they're greedy and they have unfair benefit systems that do not exist in the private sector. There's no equivalent for them. It's very unique to America as well.
I think,
and that's why I believe Trump did the right thing when he was cutting waste out of the federal government. Because, okay, think about it. You're in your little city. They ain't working in the private sector. Everybody just working for the government. Well, what that does, bloating. You already got to pay these people, especially if these people on a pension. Now it's just constantly bloating. It's getting bigger. But then you're not even bringing in what is required to sustain any of it. And that's the problem.
I think that whether it's homelessness or whether it's overspending, we're still reaping a lot of the effects of COVID. And I think you have to be mindful that in big cities, whatever was happening in smaller cities was exacerbated times a million in every major city like New York. I mean, we saw some of the implications. So the fact that cities are, 6 years out, just picking up the pieces, not even from the ending, from the start, just picking up the pieces, you got to give it some time to reorganize and reshuffle. It's easy to be like a population of, some thousands versus millions. I think that, that's a real harsh criticism. And I know he's trying to appeal to like somebody moderate down the middle, but then propose a policy. And I know he's a journalist, so that's not his job. But like for the moderate people that are criticizing Mamdani,
to phase out pensions.
Okay, there's people who've worked their whole life with the idea of getting a pension. So maybe start from the people right now, but you can't phase out pensions of people that are retired and will have nothing to live off. You want people to do what? With their ailments and elderly age, what would you like them to go do to make money if they have no pension, even though they worked their whole life thinking they would get one? How do you want them to live, Robbie?
I don't care.
It's like if you have a 401k and then they phase that out and you're retired now. Well,
you got to listen to people when they say stuff. Like he doesn't care what happens to the elderly, these people that had already worked their lives and got what they deserve, rightfully so. You can't like really say that these people don't deserve their just due for doing their duties. But at the same time, just like what the Trump administration did to the federal government with Doge, we have to consider all of this. And I think what needs to really happen, I think every city should have an officer that works, strictly walking off of managing the city's budget, just like they're doing in Charlotte. Let's review.
Manager Marcus Jones has a total compensation package approaching $490,000 as of late 2024, following a 5% pay raise. His compensation includes a base salary of $434 to $475 plus benefits like a $5,700 auto stipend, $3,100 expense allowance, and a 401k match. So the Charlotte mayor is not even the man. The city manager is the one that makes all of the money. The mayor, city council, and the mayor are not technically full-time positions in Charlotte, though they often at times require full-time work. The city manager, is this a city manager right here, Marcus Jones? Wow.
And if y'all see it right there, Charlotte has a weak mayor form of government, which means the city manager runs the city like a CEO. Your city council and the mayor set policy, and the manager carries it out day to day. And I believe that's what all of these blue cities should have. I think they should try to implement this. And Anton Daniels he's gonna get right on it. So I'm gonna keep on letting it go. But just think about it in its context. The mayor is not making a whole lot of money. Everybody else is not making a whole lot of money. Only the person that manages the budget.
Charlotte has a weak mayor form of government, which means the city manager, Marcus Jones, runs the city like a CEO. City council and the mayor set policy. The manager carries it out day to day. Y'all, aviation director makes $326,000 a year. Interim CEO of CATS.
Let me speed this up.
He's a deputy city manager. So y'all just giving away free money in Charlotte. That's crazy. He make almost $500,000 a year. The city of Charlotte regularly dealing with a budget deficit or a budget surplus?
It seems like the city of Charlotte aims to maintain a balanced budget, as state law requires balanced budgets for cities. Recent information also indicates that they've built a strong financial foundation and work to ensure balanced budgets. Is there a particular year or time frame you're interested in?
Are they dealing with any kind of problems when it comes to money in a budget in Charlotte?
According to recent information, Charlotte City Council adopted a structurally balanced budget for fiscal year 2026. They are aiming to maintain balanced budgets, preserve core services, and maintain operating reserves. There was also discussion about teacher pay in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools budget. Are there any specific areas you're concerned about?
Nope, that's it. So basically, it's basically telling me that they're doing well with their budgets. Well, if y'all have the ability to be able to pay him $500,000 a year, that's crazy to me. It's not an elected position. They run in the city like a CEO. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. Is that crazy that I don't have a problem that the CEO of Charlotte, the CEO of Charlotte is making $500,000 a year? When you add in the stipend and the car and the allowance and all of that stuff, I'm not tripping about it. You know why? Because it sounds like he's managing the city well, that the mayor is not making money. So now, all right, so look at it like this. If the mayor of Charlotte is only making $50,000 a year, the average mayor, let me see. Salary for, pick a city. Mayor of Denver, let's say mayor of Denver. If the mayor of Denver is making $200,000 a year, right? But the mayor of Charlotte is making $500,000 a year, right? I think it's still a lot, but let's say that the mayor of Charlotte is making $500,000 a year. The mayor of Denver is making this amount per year. Okay, so let's deep dive it a little bit more. Salary for city council of Denver. Now the city council members, now remember, the mayor of Charlotte only makes $46,000 a year. The city council only makes $40-something thousand a year. But all city council members make $96,000 a year, and some of them make $108,000 a year. How many city council members are there in Denver? Now there's 13 city council members. Multiply that by 50,000, and you actually can start to justify the salary, especially if they're operating with a balanced budget and a surplus and with reserves. Now, let's go over to Chicago. Salary of mayor of Chicago.
And I hope y'all understood that. Like, think about it. For 13 people, you're only paying one person. Yes, his salary may be high, but you're only paying one person, and they're operating in a surplus. They're not even worried about a debt deficit, right? They're working in a surplus, right? They're keeping they're keeping it balanced in Charlotte. And so I think that our cities need more stewards over our government and our cities spending. Essentially what we should have in the federal government, such as when they tried to implement Doge. Because these politicians, Congress, they just willy-nilly with our tax dollars, giving it to any and everything and everybody. Over a whole lot of frivolous things, activities are going on. And so this is what all cities throughout the United States need to be operating in my opinion. Let's keep it going. Let's see.
Salary of the mayor of Chicago is $221,000 a year. Plus, he got to have all of the security and the police officers. Plus, he gets city cars. Plus, he gets to stay in the mayor's mansion. And they have to cover all of the costs that's associated with his housing. So, you know what I'm saying? Then the alderman, salary of alderman of Chicago. Now you got the alderman in Chicago is making between 119 and 143. Some of them is making 152. And the top tier earners making up to $181,000 a year.
Wow. How many?
And it's 50 of them. So let's take an average, 50. Right? Let's say.
Think about it. 50 aldermen.
150 of them times $150,000 a year. Now we know that it's more than that because your total compensation doesn't just include your salary. It's pension, it's healthcare coverage, it's all of that. So it's costing $7.5 million a year just in salary for the alderman, which also doesn't include the mayor and where he's staying and all of that other stuff. And they're fucking up the city.
And there you have it. I wanted to play that clip. I remember viewing it a few weeks ago, but I just wanted to highlight the importance of what is actually being discussed and I wanted to talk about that because this is basically what Fareed was talking about. It's just all this bloating, all this spinning, and though a lot of people may have good intentions, is being poorly managed. But Sipper or Sippage, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It's your boy Mercy.